we want to go ahead now and bring in one of those college students, Brooke Taylor. She attends the University of Michigan. Brooke, thanks for being with us on the MegaCast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
So, are you on campus now?
Yes, I'm currently in my dorm. I was in my virtual class, the integration of music and movement. I just hopped on.
Brooke, so are all of your classes virtual? How is that working this year?
Well, if I was a regular student in the College of Literature, Science, and Arts, I probably would be online, but because I'm a dance major, I do have a few hybrid classes. So I have one day virtual and one day online. And that's one of the main reasons that I did want to come back to campus because summer was just 6 months without dance or virtual classes, which was crazy.
So, what have some of the main differences been from a student life standpoint, and just from a general on campus life standpoint for you, having come back to campus this fall under the circumstances that every student at the University of Michigan and many other universities in our state and around the country are having to deal with?
Well, one of the main differences for me is not being able to dance very close to my peers. So in the dance studio, we all have our own boxes that we have to stay in the whole class, and we have to clean it with Lysol wipes before and after we leave. And in addition to that, of course, virtual classes has just been such a big adjustment for everyone. But I am fortunate that I am in college because I'm taking an education for social change class, and I'm just realizing all the elementary students and all the just younger kids who aren't as far into their education career. Another change, big change, has been eating in the dining halls. So you cannot eat inside. It's only about 20 people that can be in a dining hall at a time. So you're really waiting for about 30 minutes to get into the dining hall to get food, and you don't have access to get it yourself. There's not volunteers, but workers who hand you the food in a plastic container, and you just go back and eat at your dorm.
So, Brooke, I guess we should have asked, what year are you? Are you a freshman, a junior?
I'm a sophomore.
So, you've been on campus before. What is it like in your dorm room now compared to last year?
It's very, I don't want to say unwelcoming, but it's very different because when you have a mask on, you can't really talk to people and see their facial expressions. You're really only looking at your eyes. So it's been very hard to, I'd say, make friends because everybody is just in their dorm all day. Nobody's going to parties, football games. So it's just very different. So eye contact and just engaging in a different way is something that I've had to learn how to do differently.
From your perspective as a student, do you think that what's happening now with some classes being virtual, some classes, even classes that you're taking being in person, do you think that this is going to change the dynamics of college of the college experience after the pandemic, where maybe we see more classes that are being mandated as virtual and more that are online or some form of hybrid going forward?
Yes, I definitely think that this has put a huge impact on the college experience. I think wearing masks and just taking these extra precautions of being safe is something that we are going to continue even after the pandemic is over. And honestly, virtual learning is just something that we have to get used to. And it's sad to know that there's about 500 million students who don't have access to virtual or remote learning. So it's going to be a huge adjustment for both college students and students of a variety of ages.
So, Brooke, you are a sophomore, so at least you do have friends on campus from your previous years. For incoming freshmen, this must be an incredibly hard time. We, in the dorms, are you allowed to keep your doors open and talk to one another? And do you have a roommate at all?
I do not have a roommate. My mom was like, "You're not going back to campus if you have a roommate." So we checked with our family doctor, and he said, it would be safe if I'm acting smart and I don't have a roommate. I just bleached my dorm the other day, Yes, we can keep our doors open, but there is no guest policy in the dormitory. So if you don't live in a specific dorm, you can't visit somebody else's dorm, and you have to remain 6 feet apart and keep your mask on.
What a different experience. As far as learning virtually, the University of Michigan is not cheap and they raised their tuition. Do you feel you're getting the same level of education, or do you feel like you're not getting as good of an education virtually and that they should drop tuition?
If I wasn't a dance major and technique and really moving wasn't a part of my day to day experience and what I wanted to do in the future, I would definitely have gone to community college for the first year or two just to save money. I think that's a very smart investment, and it's something that a lot of students sometimes look down on, but I would have definitely taken that road. And in reference to education and do I still feel it's worth it? I'm trying to get the best I can out of it, trying to, do ballet classes in the basement of my dorm through a screen. It is different, and I'm just going to say that I'm going to make the best of it for myself.
So, what do you think the future is going to be for you and other dancers post pandemic? Will we get back to, live performances? And does that make you, are you hesitant about your future plans at all?
Yes, I am. And in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance, a lot of students have been talking about that. Like, why am I studying theater? Why am I studying dance? And I don't even know if the industry is going to be open. I have a friend who's a senior. She's moving to New York in October, and she's like, look, I don't have a job, but I'm just going to go there and I'm just going to do what I love, and hopefully something good will come out of it. So, yes, I'm a little bit fearful, but I'm also hopeful that if I do what I love, uh, but money will come, or at least I'll be happy. Yeah.
Well, we're all hoping that the live theater does come back and live concerts and performances because we do all miss it. It feeds our souls to be able to experience those things. We keep hearing about outbreaks on college campuses. I know that you're pretty much isolated there in your own dorm, but when you do get out, are you seeing students that aren't being cautious, and are there a lot of parties?
I've only heard of one party, but of course I'm not going because I know my mom would kill me and I have a 90-year-old grandmother at home, so I have to be safe for both myself and my family. For the most part, I've seen students wearing their mask. I do see sometimes in the dorms there are groups that will gather, but the RAs will be like, hey, look, remember social distancing. So fingers crossed, there hasn't been an outbreak in my dorm. I know of a few COVID cases in East Quad, West Quad, and South Quad, I'm pretty sure, but none in Alice Lloyd. So keeping my fingers crossed about that.
Brooke Taylor joining us. She is a University of Michigan student with us today on the Oakland County Megacast. So a lot of the college experience outside of the classroom is building those social bonds with other people, meeting new people, exploring different walks of life through social life on a college campus. How has that been different for you and for other college students, and what adjustments have been made to maintain that really critical part of the experience of being a college student, but doing so in a safe manner?
A lot of FaceTime, a lot of FaceTime, always staying 6 feet apart, always masking up, and really just trying to stay connected, but in the safest way possible, so we can hopefully stay on campus, stay training for the dancers in my department, and really just keeping our fingers crossed.
We are all keeping our fingers crossed. Hey, Brooke, maybe you should go old school and get a card made with your name, like a business card, but it'd be like your student business card, and you could be like, hey, Facebook me sometime. Let's get together and have a virtual cocktail hour. I mean, you could, maybe that could be your side business right there at the University of Michigan. Quickly, I want to ask, we know that the graduate students are on strike there. What are your thoughts about that? Is it impacting you and any of your classes at all?
Well, I completely understand where they're coming from. They're protesting or striking due to just not feeling as safe and not having the opportunities to teach remotely and with the policing on campus of Black bodies. So I completely understand and I completely support them. I have had a few virtual classes canceled, so it didn't make too much of a difference because I was already learning online and my classes are virtual, but I didn't meet with my English teacher yesterday. And in addition to the grad student strike, I am planning another protest for this Saturday. So it kind of came right on time.
Brooke, can you give us some more details on that protest if that has already been planned so that people that are listening and maybe want to safely participate will have the information and be able to prepare and maybe be out there?
hmm So on the intersection of South State Street and North University, I'm planning a protest entitled For Floyd, and it's just a group of Black dancers dancing for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, which was the time that George Floyd suffered and was murdered. We're dancing in resemblance of that time and for the countless other lives that have been lost due to police brutality and racial injustice. In addition to the dancers, we do have a drummer that drummed for my African class last semester, and he will also be accompanying us.
You're such a passionate young student, exactly what the University of Michigan needs, as well as our entire community as well. I know you've taken place in some other protest or participated in another protest as well. How do you take it from a protest to policy? What would you like to see as the long-term outcome of this?
Well, for this protest that I'm planning on Saturday, what I want people to mainly acknowledge is that it wasn't just a moment in the summer. It wasn't just one person. It's countless other lives that we really don't know because not all of them are recorded on a camera or on the news or even make it to the news. So I'm hoping that people just can understand that this is more than a moment but a movement, that this is still something that Black people and really all people should be concerned about because if all lives are going to matter, then Black lives have to matter as well. And I really just want to get the awareness to vote and for people to just hear us and see us and know that we're here at the University of Michigan.
Has your participation sparked new conversations that maybe wouldn't have happened prior?
After the Drive In for Justice protest that I planned at West Bloomfield High School, my counselor, Miss Tompkins, texted me and said that the West Bloomfield School District and the West Bloomfield High School are continuing the conversation about equality and just leveling the playing fields. And I think there's an African American history class coming to West Bloomfield High School, so I'm just really excited about that because that is something that I've wanted since my freshman year of high school. So I'm really so happy and blessed to see that coming into fruition.
That's so awesome. See, you're never too young to get involved and make a change. And are you trying to get other people that you know of your age to get involved as well?
Yes, I just sent out an email to my whole department asking for people to support my event on Saturday and for people to really show out with their presence there. So I'm hoping that people my age will get involved all over campus.
So, Brooke, kind of going back to life on campus there, I have to ask if by chance there's a huge outbreak on campus and they go completely virtual, would you come home or would you stay there?
I would definitely come home. I would quarantine in my basement away from my grandmother. And I guess I would just have to be taking technique classes online.
Brooke Taylor joining us on the Oakland County Megacast all throughout the local area, including on Facebook via Facebook Live on the page of West Bloomfield Parks, and we thank them for being with us today on the program. So Brooke, just another few minutes with you here. Are there any other things that you'd like our audience to know, or would be interesting for our audience to know about the difference of being a college student now versus before? Because it's certainly an entirely different world that we're living in now, and it's certainly a different world that college students are living in on the campuses of many of our universities throughout the state of Michigan.
I don't have anything to say in general, but for college students, I would just want to say stay safe. It's not just about you. Think about your grandparents, think about your mother, think about your father, think about your family. Just stay safe and wear a mask. And this is real. And in order for us to fight this and overcome this, we all have to stay together.
So, I have a question too. When you say you have virtual classes, do you have to physically log in, and are they taking attendance? And are you ever having any technical issues with some of your classes? Because even here on the Oakland County Megacast, we test people, via Zoom prior to putting them on, but sometimes the signal goes in and the signal goes out. Are you experiencing any technical difficulties like that as well?
Well, yes, our teacher does take attendance. I have had a few problems in ballet just with the audio because we're trying to hear the piano playing and we're trying to dance at the same time and stay in time. So I think the worst of my problems is just in dance, but I know that we're going to get it figured out. So that has been mainly all of my problems. And at home, I had Wi-Fi problems, but at school, I've been pretty good on Wi-Fi. So I'm just hoping that students who are at home, their Wi-Fi is working, they're able to connect to their class.
Brooke Taylor with us, University of Michigan student. You're listening to 89.3 WBLD, Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH, Bloomfield Hills. Brooke, anything last minute that you want anyone to know before we let you go?
Um, no, I don't have anything to say besides mask up and let's stay together and still show each other that we're all in this together.
Well, it was so great having you on the show. Good luck in school. And boy, I hope this ends soon because I think it's especially hard for you and the others in your major. Dancing virtually cannot be easy.
Thank you so much.